here's what finally made it click for me. So there was a time in my life that I would wake up every morning and I would promise myself that I was going to eat good. I was going to stick to the plan. I was going to eat my protein. And most of all, I wasn't going to snack after dinner. And what would happen night after night after night? I would break that promise, and then the next day I would wake up with a massive food hangover because I ate way too much sugar the night before. And the whole thing would just start all over again. I would feel disgusted with myself. I wondered if I was broken, like I didn't have a shut off. And it would just continue to happen over and over again. And it didn't matter if I had goals. It didn't matter that I wanted to change. But yet it still showed up the same exact way. I would start my day and I would be good. I would keep it low carb in the morning, just a salad with a little bit of chicken for lunch with, a teeny tiny amount of dressing. I would do the whole fork in the dressing. Have you guys ever done that before? Dip your fork in the dressing so you don't just dump it all over your salad. But by doing this, by the end of the day, when I had so much shit going on in my day, I would say fuck it, and I would snack my ass off every single night. If this is you, stick around because that's what we're talking about today. We are talking about self-sabotage. We are talking about food noise. And if you signed up for the challenge, check your inbox because I have a free resource for you. So that being said, guys, it's day 2 of the challenge. We're here doing the Lean Physique challenge. And if you guys have not signed up, make sure that you do that because you guys are getting all the tools that is actually going to help you take action this week. So keep in mind, if you have goals, and I'm not just talking goals, I'm talking about I'm tired of this shit and I want it fixed, okay? So if you're tired of self-sabotaging and staying stuck in the same position and never seeing any progress or seeing any change in your body, guys, this is the path, okay? So make sure that you sign up for the challenge. There's still time. I am going to send out this resource again after the live stream. So if you sign up within the next hour, you should be able to get this, okay? But you do need to be on this email list in order to get this, okay? But what we're going to be doing today, we are going to go over this guide because here's the reality, guys. When I was stuck in this vicious cycle of self-sabotage, starting the day out well, and then my day would go to shit every freaking day, and then I would self-sabotage at night, it's really hard to reach your goals. It's really hard to improve your health. It's really hard to lose weight, all of these things, right? So if we stay stuck in this cycle, then you're not going to see the results that you want. So this needs to be addressed. So if you're self-sabotaging, you need to find a solution to that because, again, if you have goals, this is going to keep you from your goals, okay? Now, for a long time, I actually thought I was broken. Like I was saying, I felt like I didn't have a switch off, right? I felt like it was something that I just was a flaw. I felt like I didn't have the willpower that other people had. But that actually turned out to not be true. It's actually that I just needed a better plan, okay? So if you're struggling with eating too much sugar at night, or maybe it's on the weekends, you're not alone. I've totally been there, and that's probably the biggest reason why I'm a personal trainer and health coach today, is because this was such a big stumbling block. Whenever you're self-sabotaging, it doesn't feel good, right? The digestion problems, the waking up with the food hangover, the guilt and the shame that goes along with it, and then you start to feel like you're fucking broken. When really, we just probably need to structure meals a little bit better. We probably need to have a better plan. We might need to have even a little bit more flexibility. So it's not that it's a willpower problem. It's actually that you just need a better plan. And that's what we're gonna be talking about today. And this, my friend, this has changed everything. Okay, so we are gonna talk about the daily commitment guide that came out in days 2 email. But before we do all that, I do want to just let you all know that you're doing great. So I've already had a couple messages from some of the ladies in our group hey, work kind of got in the way and I wasn't able to watch the live stream, or hey, I haven't been able to find this email, or hey, I haven't been able to get the workouts in yet. It's okay, all right? I want you to know that any action that you take this week is an action that you probably wouldn't have taken otherwise. So first of all, I want you to just congratulate yourself and be proud of yourself for taking that first step. I know it's not easy to raise your hand and be like, hey, I need help with this. I totally understand that. I know that's not easy. So the fact that you're here watching the video, or, opening up my emails, opening up our daily commitment guide, all of those things are steps in the right direction, okay? Now, on the other hand, I do want to mention here that, guys, I want you, yes, any win is a win, but also I want you to have some skin in the game, okay? So meaning, yeah, this is a free challenge, but if you treat it that way, you're probably not gonna see any results. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you guys watch all the live streams, if you guys open my emails, if you guys download all of the tools that's gonna help you take action, you will get a result this week, okay? You're probably gonna feel a little bit lighter. You're probably gonna get some wins under your belt. So that's exactly what this challenge is designed for, okay? Because I want you all to know, just like our conversation yesterday, the biggest progress killer for women that are trying to change their body 40 plus is really not like inconsistency or anything like that, or following the wrong plan. Yeah, those things are going to affect you, but here's the biggest progress killer, and that is thinking you're fucking broken, okay? Wondering if you have that shut off switch, wondering if you have a willpower problem, wondering if your best days are behind you, or my hormones or perimenopause, there's nothing I can do. So if you have that mindset, that is 100% why you're not getting the results that you want, okay? So I want you to have some skin in the game. I want you to treat this seriously, like you paid $500 for this challenge. So kind of like in between these two, right? So I want you to be proud of every single thing that you do in this challenge, whether that's just signing up, whether it's catching a replay. Those are all great things, but at the same time, you need to treat this seriously if you want to feel better this week, if you want to get some wins under your belt, if you want to see that, yes, this is absolutely possible for you. So be proud of every single win, but also have some skin in the game and take this seriously, because that's really where the transformation happens, is when you take it seriously and you do everything that you can in order to start taking action. Because here's the thing, opting into freebies or watching reels on Instagram about fat loss, all of those things are great. It's good to have that education. But the problem is that if you're not implementing these things, then nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change unless you do. So that's what I want to say before we get started. And I also want you guys to know it's my 45th birthday. I'm so happy that I get to come on here and talk with other women who are in the same boat. And I'm really hoping, guys, that you can get some really good value. But yeah, it's my birthday and I'm just hanging out today. I did do some personal training sessions this morning in person, and I went to the gym and I worked my legs and I feel really good. And I'm just looking forward to having just a chill, low-key day. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. But back to our daily commitment guide, okay? So if you guys have not opened your email yet, check out the email that came out at 5 a.m. Central Standard Time today. We are gonna go through the daily commitment guide. And like I was saying earlier, guys, this has helped so many of my clients, and me included. This is really what you need in order to stop self-sabotaging. So like we were talking about, if you're struggling with overeating at night or on the weekends, if you start the day off good, but it seems like the dominoes all fall by the end of the day and you're like at your last thread, and like the only thing that makes you feel better in the moment is eating, you guys need this, okay? Because here's the thing. I think a lot of our problem here is that we try to be too strict. And when we try to be too strict, all it takes is a mood change, okay? So if we're having a difficult emotion, okay, if something happens during the day or at night or whenever, this can absolutely derail you, okay? So that's why we really have to focus on the things that are going to help you avoid these self-sabotaging situations, okay? So there is a lot of things that we can do with our nutrition in order to prevent these self-sabotaging moments, okay? So let's go through all of this together. So the first thing you need to know is that the reason why you cannot stick with the plan is because it's not a good plan for you. It's too difficult for you. You can't do it on a crazy busy day. So that's not a good plan. A good plan is something that you can check off everything, even though it's a crazy ass day, okay? So here's the rules for your daily commitment. So basically what this is, we're going to be taking the 6 big rocks we're about to talk about here in a second. We're going to break those down into some simple, actionable things that you can do right now. And these are going to be very individual. It's going to depend on your goals. It's going to depend on your bandwidth. It's going to depend on what you're willing and able to do right now. So it's a complete lie. I hear all these perimenopause experts talking about, oh, you have to do this. You need to eat under 50 grams of carbs a day. You need to do this. You need to eat clean. No, that's not what you need to do. You really only need to do 2 to 3 things, and you need to do them well, and you need to do them consistently. So the whole gist here is we need to get out of this all or nothing thinking of, oh, you know, next Monday I'm going to start the diet. I'll be all in then. No, you can actually be like 50% in and start with a little bit of effort. That's really going to help you get a more momentum, and that's what we need. So it's not like an on-off switch. It's not like, oh, you know, like we're going to do this thing and we're all in. It's like, yeah, sure, eventually we might need to be doing more things, but in the beginning, all we need to do is a couple things, and we need to start small so we can get consistency with it. Then we can make it a little bit more difficult. We can add more things, but what we want here is consistency, and that's exactly what we're doing with the daily commitments. So here is the criteria. Your daily commitments need to be easy, it needs to be enjoyable, and it needs to be effective, okay? So 3 E's, easy, enjoyable, effective. If they're not these 3 things, it's not a good daily commitment, and you're probably not going to stick with it, okay? AKA, you're not going to get the results that you want, okay? So think of these as like non-negotiables. These are what you're going to be looking to check off your list every day. These are really the boring basic behaviors that have the most impact when it comes to body recomposition, when it comes to changing your physique, when it comes to losing fat and building muscle, when it comes to looking lean and toned. But these are great because these are going to help anchor you. So even on a hard day, you're going to be able to check these off your list, okay? So meaning you're going to be able to make progress even when your day feels crazy, even when life is like, it feels like the month from hell, right? Like that's what we want. Well, we don't want the month from hell, but what we want to be able to stay on top of our fitness goals even when life is difficult. So some of you guys might know that I lost my dad tragically last October, and this isn't a flex. I'm not trying to brag here, but what I'm saying is because I had all these pieces in place, honestly, I didn't really I hardly missed any workouts. So something crazy, like tragic happened, and I was still able to, maybe I didn't go to the gym, but I was able to do like a 30-minute workout with some dumbbells, like just a couple days later. So that's what I want for you guys. I want you guys to be able to have a plan that you can do even when it feels like your life is falling apart, okay? So let's go over the 6 big rocks. And like I said earlier, I always joke that these are the boring basics because some of you all are always looking for the shiny object. Like, what diet, Courtney, is really going to help me lose weight? Do I need to go keto? Or what workout program is going to be the best? And honestly, the things that work are not sexy. They're actually really, really boring. So in day 1 yesterday, we talked about the workouts that are effective for women 40 plus. We talked about repeating workouts. We talked about resting between sets and not doing fancy things like burpees or mountain climbers in between sets. We talked about progressive overload. So yeah, it's not really fancy. You're not going to be changing your workout all the time. It's actually kind of boring, but that's what we want. We want something that we're able to actually improve upon. Okay. So same thing with nutrition and lifestyle. These things aren't really like, there's no cold plunging on here, guys. There's no red light therapy, nothing like that. There's no hour-long morning routines. Like, who the fuck has time for that? Like, no, guys. We're going to make this really fucking easy, okay? But here's the thing. I know it's going to be a little bit boring, but it's easy, okay? So don't discount the basics because here's the thing. They're very effective and they're easy to check off your list, Okay. I was laughing because I follow this bodybuilder and I totally look up to her. And I was laughing because she's like, the things that work, it's not, it's not the things that you think would work. It's really like the boring things, like getting enough protein, walking every day, right? Getting enough sleep, all of those things. They really are the things that are going to change your body and give you good optimal health in this stage of life. Okay, let's go over the 6 big rocks. This is what I call big rocks, because these are the things that really matter in perimenopause when it comes to feeling your best and building muscle and losing fat. Okay, we have moving enough during the day, okay? That might not be 10,000 steps, but I am talking about moving outside of your workouts. This is really important because I talked about this last Friday in our live stream. If you are sedentary like during the day, but maybe you work out 6 days a week, you might still struggle with fat loss. That can be absolutely possible, because if you're only getting like 3,000 steps a day, you're probably not burning a lot of calories. And this is an area where this can actually have a huge impact, okay? So your calorie expenditure, 30% of it, of what you burn every day, is your activities of daily living. So just being generally active and walking every day, that is really, really important, not just for fat loss, but also maintaining fat loss. We have eating the right amount of food. I know this is a really broad subject, so we're going to be breaking this down here in just a few minutes, but this is really important as well. We're going to be talking a lot more about this in day 3 tomorrow, but it is really important to eat the right amount of food. And I mean, that doesn't really matter what your goal is, whether that is fat loss. We need to have a calorie deficit. If you want to maintain your weight loss, we want to eat at maintenance, where you're eating essentially what your body is burning throughout the day. And then finally, we have a bulk, which is going to be for someone who is, usually this is for someone who is very lean. They might be under muscled. So most women don't need to do a small surplus, but a small surplus can be beneficial for those women who want to build more muscle. So this is really, really important, because this is going to dictate your body composition, how much body fat you have, how much muscle mass you have. This is going to come down to how much you're consuming and also how much you're moving. And then we also have strength training twice a week. Twice a week is a great place to start. I do recommend working up to 3 to 5 strength workouts a week. We talked all about this yesterday. So if you missed day 1, make sure that you go back into our group. Or if you signed up for the challenge, I did send out the replay yesterday. There is a unlisted link on YouTube that you guys can check out, okay? 4, we have drinking enough water. This is actually really important, okay? Because I know people are going, oh, drink water. But here's why it's important. It can help you feel more satiated. So it can help you with your hunger and your cravings. A lot of times you just need to drink some water. The other thing is digestion, because this is very, very common in perimenopause. I know I've had some issues. I just started progesterone a little over a month ago. And one thing that I have noticed is that my digestion's a little bit slower. So I need to make sure that I'm moving enough to keep things moving, if you know what I mean. But also water is really important, because if you guys have constipation, or maybe it's taking you forever to go to the bathroom, you might be dehydrated. So it's really important, especially if you are struggling with digestion issues like constipation, or it hurts to go, or it takes forever to go. Water is going to help that problem. Okay, so really, really important. 5, get quality sleep. I know that's a hard one as well. That is actually the hardest one for me. So last week, I actually got my results from my sleep study. And what I suspected was true. I have sleep apnea. So know that you do not have to be overweight. I weigh 120 pounds and I have sleep apnea. For me, it's like a orthodontic thing. I had some orthodontics done in the 90s and they shoved all my teeth together. So I have a very narrow airway, but I also have some family history as well. So if you are struggling with sleep, I do highly recommend that you get a sleep study just to rule that out. So right now I'm kind of in the stage of, do I do orthodontics to fix this issue, or I might do this sleep device? But that's something that I'm working on right now. But getting enough sleep really does matter. I know that can be really difficult for some of you all, but for a lot of us, that there is things that we can do better. Like we might be able to get to bed 30 minutes earlier. We might be able to abstain from alcohol, okay? If we need a good night's sleep, right? So there's things that you can do. And then of course there's things like looking into fixing sleep apnea or anything else. I know for me though, like night sweats can be a problem. That's been waking me up. Generally, like right before my period, I notice I start getting these night sweats. And then the other thing is anxiety. I know for me, like monkey brain has been like super duper common, but there is some things that we can do, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment. And then finally, managing stress. Okay, so this is a big one as well. A lot of us do have a lot of stressors in this time of life. You know, a lot of us are doing things like we're still raising kids, or maybe we're helping raise our stepkids. So maybe we're taking care of our aging parents. And then we're juggling things like career and relationships, right? And then this is also another big time of experiencing tragedies like deaths and divorce, right? So there's a lot of things that are going on here. So managing stress is so important. Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier is, you know, if we're not managing our stress, this can show up in overeating at night, right? So sometimes we eat to soothe those difficult emotions. So stress management can really be a big help with really helping this whole ecosystem of the things that we want to work on. All right, so that's the big 6. We have moving enough throughout the day, eating the right amount of food, strength training twice a week, drinking enough water, quality sleep, and managing stress. Now, okay, that seems like a lot, right? Because it is very, very broad. So we don't want to just focus on that, like, okay, manage stress. It's like, no, we need to have a tactical solution for that. Like, what's our plan to actually manage stress? So that is the next step. So we're going to break down, and I'm going to share with you guys, which is right here inside of the guide, some examples of the daily commitments. So 1, movement. Okay, so this could look like a 10-minute walk. This could also be like, hey, I'm going to get a fitness tracker, which I highly recommend. If you guys don't have a Fitbit, these are actually really inexpensive. I like the Fitbit because it is all fitness. It stays charged almost the whole week. It tracks steps, and it's actually pretty accurate as far as like tracking your sleep. So that's actually how I was starting to figure out, like, I wonder if I have sleep apnea, because I'm like up over an hour a night. But I really, really like this. It helps you decipher like your calorie burn and your steps and your sleep data. But anyway, you can set like small step goals. This can really be helpful tracking, because a lot of times if you're not tracking, you're probably overestimating your physical activity. Okay, eating the right amount of food. So an example would be to eat protein at every meal, or maybe if you're tracking, that might be, I'm gonna eat 100 grams of protein a day. This can actually be really, really helpful if you guys are dealing with out of control cravings, because protein is really satiating, so meaning it's going to fill you up. It's gonna make you feel full and satisfied. So as soon as I started, you know, honestly, eating bigger meals, that was actually one of my commitments. And I'm not even joking, guys. Like a light switch. Like I just stopped needing to eat at night. So that's so funny. I can't believe I actually remember that. So this was a long time ago, but one of my first daily commitments was, okay, I just need to eat regular fucking meals instead of the shit of like doing my 200 calorie salad with, you know, super light dressing, dipping my fork in it, you know, like, dude, no, like, that's really the issue, is under eating, because if you're under eating during the day, it's just going to make you rebel later, especially if you have a shit ass day, right? So that's just an example. You can do like, hey, I'm going to eat 3 regular meals today, or it could be like, I'm going to eat protein on each meal. So everyone's going to be a little bit different, but that's a really good example of what you can do for eating the right amount of food. All right, strength training. You can schedule and complete the 2 workouts that you got in your inbox yesterday. That's going to cover the 2 workouts a week, right? So, hey, on that note, drop in the comments if anyone has either scheduled your workouts or if you've completed any of the workouts. I want to know. Can you drop that into the chat for me? Let me know. All right, water. So here's a good daily commitment for water. You can refill your water bottle 3 times a day. Easy cheesy, very effective. And I will say, hey guys, like I just carry a water bottle like everywhere. okay? Like this goes with me while I'm working. This goes to me to the gym. This also goes to me in my car. Like even if I'm just driving somewhere, I always have this with me, okay? When you have it around, it's like your accessory, right? Like drink it. And it might help make your water taste good. In fact, I need to have my husband fill this. I hate filling our grinder. I have like a grinder for sea salt, but pink Himalayan sea salt, guys. So especially in the summer, I love this. So I just do a couple of cranks of this into my water with a squeeze of lemon. You mix it up. It's really fucking good. Guys, sodium is good. I mean, if you have like blood pressure issues, you might want to talk to your doctor, but a little bit of salt is actually really good and it tastes good. I fucking love it. I'm really excited to get back into it. I haven't really been doing it, but now that it's warm out, I'm definitely going to get back to my pink Himalayan sea salt. Sleep. All right. So establish a bedtime. So it might be that you just need to establish like a bedtime or get to bed 30 minutes earlier this week. I don't think it works to try to like, if you're going to bed at midnight, like trying to go to bed at 9:30, I'm like, I heard someone do that the other day and I'm like, and they're like, I didn't do it. I'm like, well, no shit. Like, okay, guys, like baby steps here. I would say just 30 minutes earlier is a good start and you can start pushing that a little bit earlier. But that's what I'm talking about, guys. Like some of you guys are just trying to like go all in and it's fucking you up. So even just pushing your bedtime 30 minutes earlier, that can be a big help. All right, stress. Here's just a couple ideas. Everyone's idea of stress management is going to be different. I personally like to take a bath every day. I make my own bath salts. It's really fun. I do that on the weekends, but that way I have some really good bath soak. I do that for about 20 to 30, 40 minutes. I try to do that every day. There's also things like guided meditations. I'm a big fan of sound baths. There's this guy that I follow on YouTube and I have his subscription that I think I pay $7 a month, but you get ad-free sound baths. Very effective to helping you move energy in your body, but it also just gets you in a meditative state and it helps me fall asleep so fast. So there is meditation apps out there. There's sound baths. There's a lot of good yoga apps out there that can be really, really helpful. And also just doing things like a brain dump in your journal. All of these things can be very, very effective. But like I was saying, everyone's a little bit different. Some people want to walk out in nature and that's great too. Some people just, want to do some journaling or just sit in a quiet corner and read. So whatever that means for you, anything that's just going to make you feel better on a mental and emotional level. So those are some commitments, but like I was saying, they can look different for everyone. It just depending on where you are on this journey and what you're willing and able to do right now. All right, so we're going to go over this page real quick. So we have your daily commitments. This is like the 4th page, I believe. So next is how to choose your commitments. So what we're going to do first is ask yourself these questions. So first of all, does this feel realistic and not overwhelming? Because if it feels overwhelming, it probably will be in the moment. Okay. So you got to find something that is realistic for you right now. Okay. Can I do this 80% of the time, even on busy days? And does this support the results that I want? If yes, that's a good daily commitment. If no, then we probably need to rework these a little bit. So there's a quick worksheet and I just have you circle the big rocks that you want to work on. Okay. So move more, eat smart, strength training, water, sleep, stress management. Circle the ones that are most important to you. Okay. That you know that you're willing and able to work on. Now, based off those, I want you to chunk those down into 2 to 3 commitments. You don't need to do any more than that, okay? So do the quick worksheet. Circle the ones that are most important to you. Like for me, it's my sleep. So because that's where I'm struggling the most. So I definitely make sleep a priority, if that makes sense, okay? And for me, that's just getting to bed. I try to get to bed by 9 o'clock on weeknights because I get up really, really early. So that's what I want you guys to do. Circle the ones, okay, that are most important to you. And then based off of that, you're going to start creating your daily commitments, okay? Now, if you need help with this, drop any questions in the comments. I'm happy to walk you through. You can also direct message me, okay? That's fine as well. Okay, now, after you think you have your commitments, how confident am I on a scale of 1 to 10 that I can get this checked off most days? Okay, it needs to be high, 8 or higher, okay? So if you're not confident that you can check that off, then we need to make it a little bit easier, maybe a little bit more doable, right? So we just need to make it a little more accessible, okay? So if you're not sure about that, drop any questions in the comments or send me a DM. And then finally, here's where we're gonna put it to the test. At the very bottom, do you see where I have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Okay, so what you wanna do is track your progress. So every day that you get these done, put an X, okay, for that date. You know what I like to do? I actually do this in my planner. I have a passion planner because I'm just like old school and I like paper and pen journals. I love it. But inside my passion planner, every time I hit my 3 daily commitments, I give myself a sticker. It just makes me happy because then I'm like, ooh, look at all the stickers. So right now it is 10K steps a day. I have a calorie goal that I try to reach. And then the other one is no alcohol or it fits in my macros. Okay. So those are my 3 daily commitments right now. So if I get all of those, I give myself a little sticker. So I don't know. It's just kind of a fun thing. So that is it for today. I don't really want to go any longer because we've already been live here for 30 minutes. But your challenge for today is to download the guide. You can print it. You don't have to, but you can also like not do the color if you don't have color, if you want to save some money. But I do actually recommend printing this if you have a printer. Otherwise, you can just see it digitally and you can write down your responses like in a notebook or a journal. But guys, like I was saying earlier, the reason why you're struggling is because you just need a better plan, okay? You don't need to be more strict. In fact, that's probably part of the problem. If you're too strict with things, it just makes you want to rebel when you're in a mood. Okay. And what do we do when we rebel? We're like, fuck it. You know what? I'll just start over on Monday. Yeah, that's the problem. It's the highs and the lows. This is going to take the highs and lows out of your nutrition because the reality is if you have some low calorie days in there, it might not be enough to cancel out the high days. So instead of having these highs and lows in our nutrition, we just kind of want it to be a little more stable. And honestly, you know what I tell people? I tell my clients, I'm like, oh, I can't stay away from the Oreos. I'm like, why don't you eat 2 of them after lunch? Seriously. Like, what? Eat Oreos at noon? Yeah. Fucking try it, guys. Seriously. Like, a lot of you all are like trying to white knuckle it all day long and then you wonder why you freaking eat your face off. Like, try to see what happens if you add 2 Oreos to your lunch. You're going to get rid of that food noise, okay? Because you're not going to be sitting there like, oh, I hope I can be good when I get home tonight, right? Like sometimes we just need to eat something like in a controlled amount and it be planned, right? So that way you get that craving satisfied. And then more than likely, you're probably not going to feel like you need it again later. So believe it or not, that's actually a strategy that I teach. Why don't we try to do a controlled serving during the day? I don't know. Try it, right? So that's the whole point of this, guys. We want to take out the highs and lows. We want to get out of this all or nothing because the all or nothing is keeping you stuck, right? Like, I'm either all in or completely off the rails. That is going to fuck you up. What we need is consistency, right? No highs and lows. We're just coasting along. We need a better plan, right? We need to probably eat regular meals. As soon as I started doing that, when I started eating a little bit more at my meals instead of just trying to keep everything as low calorie and low carb as possible, yeah, I had fucking cravings because I'm denying myself all day and I'm not even fueling myself properly. So guys, you need to remember you're a grown ass adult, right? We can't just sit here and eat 200, 300 calorie meals and feel satisfied. For most of us, unless you're 4'5", that's not going to be enough food for you. So believe it or not, a lot of times we just need to have more structure to our meals. We probably need to add more calories. We might need to make sure that we're having some kind of protein source in there. And yeah, scheduling those snacks earlier in the day in a controlled way, like eating them with your meal, right? Like, so maybe you have like a salad with 5 ounces of chicken and, you know, a controlled amount of salad dressing. And then yeah, have a couple Oreos or a couple pieces of chocolate. Like, you might surprise yourself, honestly, because when you start taking those foods like from, oh, I can't have these foods, to like, you know what, I can put them in my diet strategically in a controlled portion way, it really does change everything. So your challenge for today is to download this, go through the guide, and I want you guys to post in our group. You can just post it here in the comments what your daily commitments are. And if you have any questions about setting your own commitments, you can either drop that into the chat below, or you guys can reach out direct message, okay? Tomorrow, I will be here live. We are gonna be talking about assessing your physique, because here's the biggest question I get from women. Courtney, should I focus on fat loss, muscle building? Can I do both? It's gonna depend. So if you've been wondering the same thing, stick around, because that's exactly what we're gonna be talking about tomorrow. Don't forget to sign up for the challenge, because tomorrow I have a physique assessment guide. So no more wondering if you need to, you know, build muscle, lose fat, if you need to just chill out and hang out there where you're at, or maybe you need some body recomposition when you do a little bit of both. But not everyone can do both, and we're gonna be talking about that, okay? So make sure that you sign up for the challenge. The link is in the comments as soon as I'm done here live, okay? Cheering you guys on, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 3.